Hello everyone, we are back with Feed the Kids 2021. My name is still HUD601, I am still here, and we are bringing you the second half of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. This time it's Sonic and Knuckles, and we're switching characters as well. We're going to be playing as the Red Boy himself, Knuckles. Now, we're switching commentators too at this point, so I'd love to introduce to you the wonderful, the lovely Alice.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is the better half of the game, trust me everyone.
Alice is a far better Knuckles runner than I am.
Oh, shish.
But I've learned everything I know from her, so hopefully it won't be too bad. By the way, Alice, did you buy your desk in the end?
I did buy my desk, actually, Huds. It's a very good desk, and I'm sure many people have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, but it's very important, I promise.
Did you go for the corner one in the end, yeah?
I did go for the corner one, yeah. I've got all my consoles stacked on it.
Beautiful.
Lots of space. I've got a massive RGB mouse mat, and that's your fault, by the way.
Okay, let's get this run underway without further ado. So, as I say, we are going to be playing as Knuckles. So, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
So immediately, right off the bat, we're going to see some very specific Knuckles tech. So there's a thing in this game called a super glide, which is basically when you're jumping onto an object that you can destroy, you get a lot of momentum. And if you glide as you do that, you can go flying straight up like this. Now, although Knuckles is better than Sonic in every single way, Sonic's path is occasionally a bit faster. So we've had to make our way up to Sonic's path just to go as fast as we can. Huds here is going to be going for a very precise bit of movement here to try and get onto this other side of the loop.
That was a pain.
Basically, because of control lock in this game, which is when you jump while spin dashing, you can't turn around. If that doesn't go completely smoothly, it's very awkward to fix. So good recovery from Huds there. And now going for and some speed shoes, yeah. Oh, you lost the speed shoes, yeah, of course. Because if you go a bit slow here, you lose the speed shoes. This whole section gets really messy. This is a very technical stage. For the first stage of a run, it's very brutal. If you're going for a really good time, you're going to be resetting here a lot. Huds right now just doing a little backup here. Again, you can carry the species right the way through here, but that is so difficult. And now just gliding under here. The underside of that doesn't have collision, so that's not a glitch going through the bottom there. If you go from the top to the bottom, that would be a glitch, but coming from underneath, that is exactly what the game intends you to do. Anyway, we're at the boss. So keeping the fire shield is important till this part. Shout out to Ben in Sweden, who just loves fire shields. Because the underside of this boss is fire. So if you have the fire shield, you can just wail on him like this, but without the fire shield, you have to dodge the flames. So just it saves 2 seconds or something to have the fire shield at this point.
I don't know what it is, but when it comes to Sonic and Knuckles, I can never get a good Mushroom Hill 1 in a marathon run.
No one can.
Happens.
It's forbidden. It is the worst stage ever. Mushroom Hill 2? Not Mushroom Hill Who. Mushroom Hill 2 is a much more forgiving stage, though, and it's one of my personal favorites as well. I love how it looks. The stage itself flows really well. Again, though, we are going up to Sonic's path because, he's got to have something going for him, and we can just take it.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Also, cool jump here. If you just jump at a certain point there, you'll land on that spring every time. Looks really cool. Getting wonderful jumps across there onto the spikes as well. Really good stuff. And now we're through to the next weather bit. So, Robotnik is basically draining the life out of the forest, which is why it's getting progressively more and more, less and less colorful, I should say. Oh, a lovely jump there as well. So Hud's spin dashing off of that platform there to avoid the control lock because he's in a running state, and then jumping up there to climb up the inside of that. And we're onto the boss. This boss strat is really precise. What you have to do is hit the boss and glide immediately, and then start spin dashing, and that will get you 6 hits. And then you want to try and do the same thing there, so cancel the momentum with a glide to get 2 extra hits, and that's a very, very smooth boss kill. Really nicely done.
For some reason, I find that boss so much easier with Knuckles than with Sonic to get the 6-2. I love that level as Knuckles, though, especially the ending bit. It just flows so nicely around the loop and, over the boxes and to the boss. Because we don't have the data select menu in Sonic and Knuckles, because it's a second half, we cannot skip the cutscenes, because if I reset, then we reset. So, yeah, we have to watch the cutscenes, which, means we get a bit of story. After the battery.
Yeah, just a teeny tiny bit. The Flying Battery is a very, very precise stage at the start. There is basically a room referred to by many as the Room of Doom, where there are 2 sets of cycles going. One set of those cycles are based on the level itself, so they're already moving right now. And then another set are what we call screen-based cycles, so they don't start moving until you get within a certain distance of the room itself. So it looks like HUDs is going to be aiming for the kind of lineup between the two where you can kind of go straight through. There is another cycle that is even more precise than this, that is much more difficult. So this is the kind of the standard, quite normal cycle, but there is a very, very, very difficult one. Oh, not quite getting enough height there. So one downside of Knuckles in this game is in order to keep him separate from Sonic in certain areas, Knuckles' jump height is not quite high, as high as Sonic's. So even though, you know, they kind of think we can keep them on separate paths, 9 times out of 10 you can probably get there with Knuckles as well, but it does kind of spill over to other parts of the game, so some jumps are just a little bit more difficult with Knuckles. But we're through the Room of Doom, it's all good, and now we're onto the Corridor of Pain. I don't think that's a name, but it's how I feel about it, to be honest. If you're not entirely where you expect yourself to be with those cycles, those things can just crush you if you're not careful. Anyway, onto mid-route here, sneaking your way down with the glide. And making some progress. Taking a damage boost here so you can just go straight through the tunnel. And again, this is another bit where if the cycles are in your favor, you can land on top of one of those spike crushes as it comes up and head straight up, but you can't really be too sure of that if you've not had a smooth stage up until that point. Lovely jump there. Good stuff. And now we're onto the boss, pretty much. It's a very quick stage, but it's one of the harder ones. I mean, like, once you've got through Mushroom Hill 1, you then have to get through Flying Battery 1 if you're going for a PB attempt. And this is Mr. Tickles, I think everyone calls him, right? From Mr. Men?
Yep.
I always thought his, like, bodywork looked kind of like Nunu from the Teletubbies, so he's kind of like a Mad Max Nunu rendition. To me personally, and you'll never get to unsee that now. But yeah, this is kind of the theme of SNK half, is a lot of the bosses just kind of deal with themselves. You can't really speed them up because you're kind of relying on them to beat themselves up.
So yeah, one of the things I'm being very careful of in Flying Battery, it's one of the few levels where you can take a lot of very easy deaths with those crushers. We only have 3 lives and there's no continues, so I really need to preserve them.
Yeah, definitely. The level select is an absolute pain to try and set up in this game as well. You have to go into a stage and find something to grab onto and then do a button combination. It's definitely not quick. So these things here that HUDs is on, these are screen-based cycles. And there's a section that, like, you can tell when someone's, like, brand new to run in the category because they're very scared of it. But in reality, these are actually very consistent depending on how you approach them. So you get a lot of control over them. It's quite nice. Got to be slightly careful through here as well. It is possible to get slightly the wrong angle with that spin dash and throw yourself into the abyss, which you definitely don't want to see. So this is the bit I'm referring to. Ooh, interesting jump. Now you got to be scared. Okay, there we go. We're fine. Yeah, if you spin dash right from where HUDs tried to spin dash initially, then you'll just go straight under that every time and there's no problems to say. Also, slight little optimization there. HUD's just moving back to the left a little bit. That platform, for whatever reason, certain bits think that Knuckles is teetering off of an edge, even though he's not. And that will cause him to be unable to spin dash. So by moving backwards there, HUD's just making sure he can move on with the level that little bit faster. Also, these crushes are really awkward because the lightning ceiling itself is a level-based cycle, and the crusher is a screen-based cycle, which means it's possible that you can approach it in a certain way when the crusher will get lifted up. Also, hi to Spider Steve. Everyone loves Spider Steve. Thank you for your service. So it's possible that you can approach them at a certain speed that it will be raised just enough as you enter the screen that it will immediately crush you when you spin dash into it. So you have to be very careful around those. You can't just like run straight through if you're not entirely like confident on where the cycles are. And this stage is very variable as well. It's so like difficult to be on a consistent cycle every time here. The longer the stage, the harder it is to make these cycles. So things tend to get out of control very easily.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Flying Battery, I think, for any new runner to this game, Flying Battery is probably the hardest one for them to get through, because there's a lot of cycles, because there's a lot of jeopardy, there's a lot of potential for being crushed. You will see a lot of new runners basically lose all their lives here and have to start again. Certainly was the case for me, and I know other runners that picked up this game for a tournament that we had at the beginning of this year, I think it was. We saw the same sort of thing. But yeah, as Ada said earlier on, most of the bosses in the SNK half are auto-scrollers, so we just have to wait for that one. And now let's see if I can do this next bit. Go on, Ada.
Oh, come on. Right, so this is the very important part of the run. It's definitely not a meme, I promise. If HUDs can get right the way up through this tunnel, quick enough, we're going to see that we've outrun the sky and we can see space. And that is an important part of the run, I promise. Space it is! Okay, now tube. Now do tube, Huds. Come on. Get the tube blessing. Come on.
Oh, rubbish.
Huds, no! Okay, partial tube. You can do it, I believe.
Come on, Huds. Blessings.
Come on. Oh, partial tube. Yes!
We'll take partial tube.
So this is basically a small minigame that I originally came up with to keep myself entertained, because this is just like an auto-scroller. You're just waiting for the floor, so... I'm glad that everyone's adopted that. Anyway, very specific setup for this boss. So Huds is currently waiting for the boss to wiggle a certain number of times and then get himself into this position so that he can spin dash just in between the spikes and the flames. That is very, very difficult to do. Slightly too far to the left, you'll get hit by the flames. Slightly too far to the right, you'll get hit by the spikes. And as you saw, Huds had 0 rings for that. So that was very scary.
It's a bigger gap than you think it is, but it's very easy to overshoot at either side and take an easy death there.
Yeah. I find that when you get more confident at it, it's actually scarier in some degrees, because you get more confident with how big the gap is, but then you start trying to push it a bit, and then that's when you're going to make mistakes. Anyway, Sando 1. This is like very, very heavily cycle driven. I think currently the IL would suggest that there is an even earlier cycle than what we're going for right now, but that is like so very difficult to do. So we're going for kind of like the earliest realistic cycle, which will be getting through into the boss area at 58 seconds. So Huds has already made the first cycle. So there's 3 key cycles we have to get through. So he's made the first one. Now onto the second one. Oh, not quite getting a good jump there. I think we're just going to miss the second one. Very unfortunate. But that's fine. So basically every one of these cycles is going to cost you 6 seconds. So it's a very frustrating stage, because one small mistake can cost you a very like disproportionate amount of time.
Yeah, subpixel, nice.
Good stuff. So we should be on track for the 104 cycle right now. And there we go, the 104, second best cycle. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Really good stage.
Hey, Alice, you know what we haven't had in a while?
What haven't we had in a while, Huds?
An auto-scroller.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you know.
Would you like one?
I mean, no.
Well, unfortunately, you're getting one.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah, this is the big rock golem. I think everyone calls him Dwayne, right?
Yeah,
he's Dwayne the Rock Johnson. So fun fact, everyone, you'll never unsee this either. When I was younger, wait, go show the model. I need to show people. When I was younger, I thought that was like a big toothy grin with a little eye above on his head. It's actually the little eye slot of a helmet. So yeah, I'll never unsee that. Just ruined my childhood impression of that boss. Hud's doing a specific setup there as well. With this and like S3 as well. Cycles for Act 2 are running during Act 1. So by hitting the boss in that way, we get really nice and close to the door, which should, in theory, give Huds a nice pathway through for the start of this stage. But we did hit the life box, so that may influence things. Yeah, sadly, not quite able to get there. The life box, adds a tiny bit of extra time when the signpost jumps up and down. So kind of unfortunate. Those boxes are very annoying sometimes. Also, not going for the plunger here. This is brave.
Grab that one instead.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's kind of unfortunate because you'd usually want to jump off that plunger before you activate it to get through there, but you also don't want to do the stage with the ghosts following you, so it's definitely a good backup. You have to make sure you don't go against the left wall here, because as muscle memory from Glitched may take over and you may just throw yourself through the floor by accident. Beautiful angle there as well, avoiding this scorpion. And we're straight through here. There's a really cool piece of movement tech coming up here as well. So you jump off this ceiling and then, not quite maintaining the speed. That's unfortunate. Those sandfalls are really nasty. It's a very precise angle, but in theory you can get the speed from there, go straight through, and then you can like jump and glide and land right in front of that switch without losing any speed. It's super awesome. But also super difficult. Nice rings. Anyway. So this is the sandfall section. You'll notice that Knuckles hasn't activated the sandfalls because he doesn't need to, because he is superior to Sonic.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Huds. Okay, look, if you're running a Knuckles category and you want me on comms, you should expect this. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
I am quite notably a not Sonic runner. I will run any character but Sonic in a Sonic game. But yeah, because of Knuckles climbing, he's able to just get through this whole section without having to worry about anything. Also, Super Glide, maybe? That's quite a precise one to get. So there we go. Back up Super Glide. Good stuff. Ooh. Slight quirk with Knuckles as well that you have to keep in mind, especially in this stage, is certain platforms that are like sprite-based rather than just terrain are when you see like HUDs landing on something from a glide, you'll see Knuckles going to this landing animation, and that will instantly stop you dead in your tracks. And when you have done that, you are able to spin dash immediately in this game, unlike in... Oh no, that's so mean!
Wow.
But sometimes the game does not let you sneak your way into... Oh, you're so far back! Oh, that's horrible.
Oh, that's brutal.
This game is mean.
This game is very mean.
So sometimes that happens when you're against that wall. It doesn't quite let you go into that little gap, and then you can fall down there and get crushed. It's really, really annoying, very unfortunate when that happens. Managing against it is also very difficult, so it's like it's basically just sometimes it's going to happen, and it's unfortunate that we can make do with it. But as I was saying, sprite-based objects. So when Knuckles lands on them, he won't enter the landing animation. He'll just enter a running animation, which means some of these platforms are harder to spin dash off of than others. So like these moving ones, for example, here, you're not able to glide and land on those. Also, that one there, for example, HUDs you saw did a little glide and he ended up in a running animation instead of the landing animation. That's just how it happens. Lovely spin, Super Glide that time.
Yeah, I've often spoken about this in runs. I'm going to wait for that one. I've often spoken about this in runs.
I was terrified.
And yeah, I made a little mistake here, which meant I didn't land here properly to get them a spin dash to roll into him. Making little mistakes like that can really throw off your muscle memory, which is why I ended up making a mistake here and not landing there like I should have. It's those little things that can end up causing you the biggest problems in any speedrun.
Yeah, especially in glitchless, because like when you see glitched, for example, if you land the glitch, you're usually like careering through the stage incredibly quickly, and like the stage times tend to be a lot shorter. But when you're in glitchless and you've got these like long stages, your last checkpoint could be like miles back, so it can really punish you a lot in this category.
Come on.
Oh, mean boss. So HUDs is trying to do similar to what he did earlier with the Mushroom Hill 2 boss, which is getting a hit and then cancelling the momentum of that hit with a glide and then getting into the boss's hitbox. Unfortunately, now the boss has progressed past the ceiling there, which means that trying to do it will kind of end up pushing you above the boss, and then you can't get any more hits. But if you can get the boss right in that corner, you can get a very quick kill, but it's very precise. That one's even harder than Mushroom Hill 2, in my opinion, to get done properly. Anyway, Lava Reef. This is the last full stage of the game. It's another very cycle-driven stage. There's a lot of cycles in SNK half that you have to worry about. There's kind of multiple ways of approaching this. I tend to play, like, I'm more of a consistency person, so I tend to play very safe through here, and I don't take any damage boosts until halfway through the stage. But there are strats where you take tons of damage boosts and save an entire cycle, which it's very scary, but it's also, you know, like about 6 seconds faster because of how cycles work in this game.
I'm just happy usually if I get a nice flow through this stage.
Yeah, if you don't like hit everything all the time, like
yeah.
that kind of be how the stage is, you know. Take the damage boost there, yeah.
Oh, you muppet!
Oh, really?
Wow!
Really, game?
Wow! It's fine. We got the checkpoint. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, we're all good. This like part of the stage here is the most brutal. It's also like not too difficult in terms of checkpoints. Like there's one right in the middle which just gets you back to where you were quite quickly. There we go, we're back there already. Good stuff. So there is a fire shield there. We're going to be ignoring it. Sorry, Ben. Because it would be useful, but it's just much faster to go through that section without picking it up. And for Act 2, where we really want a fire shield, we're going to be able to get one in 2 different places. So, in fact, I think there's 3 different places throughout the stage, but right at the start, we'll be able to get 2. So we don't necessarily need it for now. Also, grabbing this invincibility here, this is kind of like a personal choice. It doesn't save any time. It can potentially lose time if you don't have smooth movement, but like provided you do, it's the same amount of time, and it just makes the boss a tiny bit easier. So here Huds is going to try and set up and get some early hits on this. As we previously mentioned, that Knuckles' jump height means that he can't just jump up and hit these like the other characters would be able to. However, there's a thing in this game called a micro slope. So these floors are not actually flat. They've got loads of teeny tiny little like imperfections on them that give you slopes that you can jump off of. So Hud's right there. When you see him hitting those at their full height, he's actually jumping off a tiny little slope on the ground. So it's very precise to be able to do that. Really nicely done. Also, we killed a boss in that exact position because here's the fire shield we mentioned.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, no, you hit the signpost.
Nudge the signpost. It's all good. It's all good.
Just a little tap, you know.
It's a little
just
tap.
remind the signpost who's in charge. Like, that's what it gets after that life in Sando. It's now Lava Reef Act 2. This is a very cool stage. This is also a stage where there is one section in the middle that you need the fire shield for. So it's very important to keep your fire shield through the start of this stage. You can lose it in this section because there's another one coming up that you would use in the IL, which is just up there. But now we're past this point. If we lose the fire shield, it's going to be very, very painful to recover. So
now you've said that.
You're going to do fine, Huds. Don't worry. You just need to take the pressure and run with it, you know?
It's fine.
Because if you don't do it right, I'll bully you. So
no
that's your motivation. So this is what I'm referring to. So this whole tunnel through here, it's a vertical tunnel and it's full of fire shooters. And the problem with this is even if you try to damage boost, it's vertical. So you'll fall all the way down to the bottom if you try and damage boost. Okay, we're 3 now. So we're slightly safer from the fire now.
Yeah, the worst of it's over now, I'd say.
Although you got to be careful of these cycles. Yeah. Oh, we're playing it very safe. Very smart. Very smart. Not going for the sloop jump.
Oh, no, I'm losing it here. Dang it. Duck on the
That's
screen.
fine. This bit isn't too bad.
Nah. We'll damage boost through these coming up here.
Yeah, so this is the difference, right? Because with these horizontal ones, you can just damage boost straight through. You don't have to worry at all. But with the vertical ones, you are really going to suffer if you don't have a fire shield for it. Oh, not quite. Yeah, just catching the platform there. Unfortunate. You're trying to just jump in through this little gap here to climb up just like that. Beautiful stuff. And these spike balls are all screen based, so as long as you approach them like the same every time, you'll be able to do the same movements every time, and it will work. And now we're on to the real stage, okay? The really difficult stage.
Here we go.
Gonna give Hud some quiet time.
Oh no, I've already messed up.
Okay, that's not it.
Brutal. No juice. No juice for me.
Oh, it's gonna be a 10 second.
Oh, wow.
10 seconds, Hidden
Wow,
Palace
that's
Huds.
a reset,
Where's
that.
the 8? Where's the 8, Huds? Come on. The funny thing is, every time I've run this game at a marathon, I have never gotten an 8.
Same.
It's cursed. I get it all the time in runs, and as soon as I do it at a marathon, it never happens.
I had 100% hit rate for that in the tournament and never got it in a marathon.
So we're on to the final boss now. This is Mecca Sonic. What Huds is going to be trying to do is just get as many hits on each cycle as possible. There's RNG in both halves of this fight. So right now, what we want to see is him facing us after he lands. If he's facing away from us, then he does like a charge attack across the screen with his spikes, and it's much harder to get hits with that. So 30 seconds, very, very good stuff there for the first half of the fight. But now we're into the second phase. Now, the first phase is RNG that you can somewhat account for. This is RNG that just wastes time every single time. That magic number, again, is 6 seconds, by the way. That seems to be how this game takes time from you. This is what we want to see. This shooting attack means that the boss is going to become vulnerable. So Hud is going to go for a 5-3 split on the damage here, getting 5 hits there, and then 3 more just as the boss does the attack a second time. So we've got the 5 hits. It's good stuff. But if he does a swoop, which we didn't see, it just wastes time. There's no way you can hit the boss if he does a swoop. So good RNG, and time's going to be any second now when the screen turns white. So as soon as it's completely white, that's going to be time.
And time. Nice.
GG, really good run.
Thanks very much. Yeah, not too bad. Unfortunate about those couple of deaths, but hey, as you were saying earlier, Adish, you know, in a glitchless run, you get so used to a specific path and specific movements. The moment something deviates from that, it can be very hard to bring it back where you expect it to be. And that's when the little mistakes kind of slip in.
Cycles, right? Like,
yeah. And you know, you can just end up, yeah, you make the tiniest little mistake, and in a run like this, especially with this game in particular, in this run, I do tend to find that the little mistakes usually end up costing you a life. It's just the way it is. So yeah, Alice, thank you so much for coming along to commentate my run for me. It's very nice having you here.
No worries. Thanks for having me. And remember, Knuckles is the best. Don't let those Sonic players convince you otherwise.
Yeah, Knuckles is all right. So I've just been reliably
Just all right.
just all right. I love doing this
How
run
dare
in
you.
particular. This run is one of my favourites to do. It's one I can happily just pick up anytime and play because it's good fun. I've just been reliably informed that my incentive for Sonic 3 Air was met, so I need to figure out when that's going to be in. I don't exactly know when the run is going to be, but it does mean that's not all from me. I'm going to be doing a third run at some point today. But yeah, for the moment, I just want to say a huge thank you to A-List for coming on to commentate this, for RGL for having me here at Feed the Kids 2021, to all of you amazing people out there watching who have donated for the Sonic 3 Air run that we'll be doing very soon, I'm sure. And yeah, shout outs to the whole Sonic speedrun community as always. Absolutely love them. If you guys are interested in learning how to speedrun a Sonic game, come and join the Sonic speedrun community. Whatever game it is, 2D or 3D, there's loads of great runners, loads of great resources that are more than happy to help you and get you up and running with any speed game of your choice. And yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw here, whether it be the Sonic 3 run or the Sonic and Knuckles, come drop me a follow over on Twitch, twitch.tv/HUD601. It'd be lovely to see you there. Come and say hi in chat and watch me prat about with Sonic games and generally make lots of mistakes and have fun. So yeah, that's all for me. I'm going to hand it back, and yeah, I'll be seeing you guys soon, I guess. But for now, bye!
Goodbye.